main DSO in France. I am, since 2011, the coordinator of the Grid4You project, one of the largest European smart grid projects funded by the European Commission, and I am also the ISGAN Annex 2 representative for both France and the European Union. As a European Union representative in the ISGAN Annex 2 and Grid4You coordinator, ERDF has been assigned the lead of coordinating the writing of the ISGAN Annex 2 demand side management casebook. And now I will present a bit this casebook. This casebook deals with demand side management and should be published very soon. Today, as an introduction of this webinar, I will disclose the first exclusive conclusions resulting from the synthesis of the best-in-class demand-side management cases coming from 12 different countries. All those cases are gathered in the demand-side management casebook. Then Laura from Enel will present some emblematic Italian initiatives at the edge of customer engagement. My introduction will first briefly state the objectives of this casebook. Then I will explain you which challenges lie ahead in order to identify best practices in this domain. And after that, we will consider some commonalities of the 12 cases included in the casebook. Finally, before handing over to Laura, I will give you some details about what has been done so far and what are the next steps before the dissemination of this casebook. So let's cover first the objective of such a document.
Remy, excuse me, it's Hans here. Could you speak up a little bit? There seems to be a problem with the sound.
Okay, I will try to speak up. I hope it's better now. Is it?
I hope so. So please let's go ahead.
Okay. The first goal of this casebook is to improve the understanding of demand-side management technologies, practices and systems by sharing the last development in worldwide top-notch demonstrators. And these developments are particularly impacted by the ever-improving technologies and business models. The second objective of this casebook is to promote the adoption of government policies enabling the successful deployment of demand-side management. Last but not least, the casebook aims, of course, at promoting the exchange and knowledge sharing around demand-side management. And it is realized in 3 different ways. First, some cases present exemplary approaches and methodologies. The casebook enables to highlight these best practices and to share them. Second, the casebook also shares lessons learned. This concept encompasses the expected as well as unexpected challenges met by participating countries, the optimal methodologies and technologies to deploy, and the effective approaches of the customers. Third, the casebook enables to compare the findings and better evaluate what is replicable in the cases. On the basis of this assigned objective, I will present you some outcomes of the demand-side management casebook. Before all, I would like to shed a light on the challenges. Indeed, the lessons learned and best practices presented in the 12 case studies included in the ISGAN casebook provide qualitative insights into the complexity of deploying demand-side management initiatives. The first challenge was to set a framework of work. What is DSM about? Is it active demand? Is it demand response? Demand management? It's all of this. In this casebook, we have decided to tackle a large amount of initiatives and to not leave any country aside. So we are covering all the demand-side aspects. Of course, each case presented has its own unique set of characteristics and drivers. This is as well an opportunity and a treat. It's an opportunity because it enables to have a large scope of cases and thus to get a deep insight into what is excellent, into also what is feasible and what could be improved. But yet it's also a threat because it is indicative of the diverse range of drivers for smart grid and demand-side management. The hurdle is to lose the big picture. In particular, we observed strong differences regarding the level of maturity. While some countries already manage to infer lessons learned and best practices, some others are still at the beginning of their promising initiatives. The customer class, choice of technologies deployed, specific costs, benefits and business case also significantly vary from case to case. But this is a chance for us to have a good and global understanding of what is going on in the world regarding demand-side management. Moreover, cases are boundary conditions dependent. For example, these case studies are based under specific market rules. They incorporate various program and policy mechanisms. Nevertheless, we achieved to extract from the cases leading practices in terms of technical approach, customer engagement, and market establishment. This table is hard to read, but I wanted to share it to give the best example about the large number of technologies and technical approaches involved into 12 cases. These approaches include, among other, renewable energies, electric vehicles, battery storage, VPP, AMI, or also smart appliances. In terms of customer engagement, the reader of the casebook will definitely draw relevant conclusions, as 11 cases out of 12 include voluntary recruitment approaches, and 5 cases even include customer behavior change. Regarding the market establishment, a good balance is observed between system control responsive systems in 7 cases and price responsive ones in 9 cases. 4 cases even dig these two options. From this basis, it's possible to compare the results of these two types of systems and to consequently infer best practices in terms of market establishment. I have presented to you today a kind of teasing to the casebook, and I will be very glad to share it with you when it will be published in May this year. So, what have we done so far, and what are the next steps? To make it short, we have been working on this task for more than 6 months, and indeed the first draft presentation happened 6 months ago in October. We are now in the finalization stage. The casebook should be validated and published at the beginning of April during the ISGAN Exco meeting in Shanghai. One major dissemination event for this casebook will take place in Seoul, in South Korea, during the 5th Clean Energy Ministerial. This meeting is gathering it's the G20 of the energy minister. During this meeting, we will disseminate and give a paper copy of the casebook to the attendees. So if you have questions about the casebook, I will be pleased to answer to them at the end of the webinar. And now Laura will present you some specific cases from Italy about demand-side management and customer engagement. Thank you.
So thank you, Romain. So good afternoon, everybody. Hope you can hear me well because I don't have your feedback, so hope the audio is fine. So I'm Laura Moretta, and as you really know, I work for the Smart Grid Development Unit at Enel Distribuzione. However, I'm presenting today as Italian expert for the ISGAN Annex 2, focusing today on the main initiatives on customer engagement in Italy. So after a short description of the Italian regional context, we will go through the main features of the solution developed by Enel in the field of customer engagement, detailing main objectives and functionalities. Then we'll discuss current status of the main initiatives ending up with a discussion on lessons learned and possible recommendation. Okay. There are several DSO in Italy, about 140 DSOs operating the distribution network, with about 50 DSO with less than 1,000 customers. Enel Distribuzione is, however, the largest distribution company in Italy, covering the 86% of the electricity demand. In numbers, this corresponds to about 32 million customers out of 37 in Italy, the most of whom currently in the regulated market, while about the 20% belongs to the free market. Our electricity system is fully unbundled in Italy, and in particular DSOs are also responsible for metering activity. Okay, a regulatory framework on demand-side management is still not in place in Italy, and rules defining roles and responsibility of the active demand stakeholders have not been clearly defined yet. However, legislation and procedures addressing customer awareness and energy efficiency have been in part adopted over time, arriving to 2012 with the last directive on energy efficiency addressing customer access to complementary information on historical consumption. We can say indeed that the smart metering had already put the basis for empowering customers with progressively higher quantity and quality of information, representing the backbone infrastructure in the larger framework of the smart grid. Starting in 2001, smart metering rollout was completed by Enel in 5 years in Italy, bringing forward the mandatory installation set by the national regulator in 2006 alongside the rollout plan of the 88% of smart meters by 2020 set by the European Commission. Thanks to smart metering rollout,
excuse me, Laura,
yeah.
Somebody is actually changing the introduction pod. If I could ask not to do this, so please do not touch the introduction pod. So leave it at the current size, because if you change it, everybody will see it. Okay, please proceed.
Okay, thank you. Thanks to smart metering rollout, customers have benefited from more accurate and reliable billing based on actual energy consumptions, also fast and remotely managed operation and contractual changes, together with the introduction of time of use tariffs in 2012 for all the customers under the universal supply regime. Consumption information are provided by tariff bands, and customers can access meter information by pressing the up right button, the one which is in the red circle. Okay, but as customers are expected to evolve from being passive recipients of energy to active participants in the market, it raises the need to provide solutions to empower customers with improved information exchange and to enable innovative services to end users. Therefore, fully exploiting a consolidating smart metering infrastructure, Enel has developed a new generation of solution which can be considered the extension of the smart metering directly inside the customer premise. In particular, this local meter interface, which is referred as the Enel Smart Info, as in the picture, is univocally associated to the customer meter and makes certified consumption and generation data available to final customers and also third parties in a non-discriminatory way for them to provide innovative services to the customers. Okay, while pursuing the objective of further improving customer experience, initiatives on customer engagement have the objective to improve energy consumption awareness and efficiency while enabling the active participation of customers to the electricity market. So by providing the end users with feedback on energy consumption and paling in perspective the way forward, the full interaction between the main actors of the electricity system, several benefits are expected to be reached at different levels. The first one is the reduction and optimization of energy consumptions, both in terms of energy volumes, but also shifting from peak to off-peak hours with generally lower energy price. The second is the facilitation of new market for services. This by making available relevant meter data in a non-discriminatory manner to market players such as retailers, aggregators, and other service providers. Then stepping forward, participation of additional energy resources for a secure and reliable system management will be also enabled, thus increasing flexibility both on the supply and load side and better balancing production and generation. Last, we are expected to reach, of course, environmental benefits as far as carbon emission, air pollution reduction, etc., triggered by, for example, more efficient energy behavior. Several functionalities, smart info functionalities have been developed. Solutions are Enel Distribuzione proprietary and can be in particular grouped by 3 levels of analysis, which are represented by the 3 blue boxes in this slide. So the first group of functionalities relate to, which we call C, relates to what can be monitored and observed. So through a touchscreen display, consumers have continuous access to their energy use pattern. In fact, smart info displays provide near real-time and also historical information on energy consumption, which are shown through bar and pie charts to highlight mean value and distribution throughout tariff bands over different time slots. Consumer can also easily check whether their supply contract is coherent with their actual needs. In fact, instantaneous power is reported together with a scatter plot of maximum historical values over time, a week, a day, or a month, for example. But beside information, alarms and messages, for example, from system operators, can be also notified to the customers. As an example, customer is assist in preventing load shedding, as an alarm is automatically generated when contractual power gets close to the contractual threshold, contractual limits. So the second group of functionalities under the analysis blue box relates to data analysis and suggestions. A software application, which is referred as Smart Info Manager, is in fact provided to the consumer to assist energy consumption data analysis directly on a personal computer. So for prosumers, energy production is also shown in a way to facilitate also the analysis of their net energy consumptions. And finally, so the last blue box, customers, consumer, or also prosumers can remotely access energy data directly from their smartphone by using the Smart Info mobile application. A step forward, energy monitoring, a domestic platform for in-home energy management and value-added services has been developed by Enel in collaboration with other partners under the Energy at Home project. So having the Smart Info as bridge between the devices in the home area network and the DSO system, DSO provides certified meter data to other market players, which can add further information such as electricity price, tariff, to provide customers with innovative services. Then a home residential gateway allows the necessary connectivity in the home network, but also acts as central home coordinator based on information exchange. Several functionalities and use cases have been developed, starting from enhancing customer energy awareness. So, for example, by using several interfaces, which can be the ones of the appliances themselves for a smartphone, etc. Customers are provided with information on the cost of each appliance cycle, but also feedback on how good or bad they're doing in terms of cost over a period of time, divided also by type of load, tariff schemes, and so on. Okay, additional use cases for InHome automated control has been also developed in the direction of enabling a full interaction of the home appliances with the network. In particular, it is possible to perform coordinated appliance planning and temporary reduction of power while taking into account user needs. So smart appliances can start functioning and not peak, generally less expensive hours, and also cooperate to avoid overload by automatically balancing consumption without jeopardizing their performances. So in other terms, on the basis of the architecture we saw before, smart appliances are able to cooperate by adjusting their power consumption according to pre-programmed preferences or signals sent by third parties. That's offering flexibility in terms of time and energy profile. Moreover, in case of prosumer, a use case performing cooperation between local renewable energy generation and consumption is currently being tested. Prosumer, in fact, can either consume or sell energy, accounting for network need, tariff schemes, price signals, and incentives, and also shift consumption accordingly. It appears evident how this same architecture can be exploited to enable solutions for the active demand management. So to validate technical solution while getting also insights into how customers can be actively involved, different initiatives exploring different levels of customer engagement have been launched over the years in collaboration with other partners, both at national and European level. At national level, a solution for consumption monitoring to raise customer awareness and enable energy efficiency are currently tested in the InHome Plus project, which was launched in December 2012. A wider scope, enlarging from consumption monitoring to InHome energy control, has been in the focus of the Energy at Home project we mentioned before, where Enel Distribuzione, alongside other players such as telco operators and white good manufacturers, is involved. At European level, the investigation of a comprehensive active demand framework, including also the identification of barriers, had already started in 2008 within the address project. Afterwards, the FP7 Advanced project was launched, enhancing the focus on customers to better investigate behavioral barrier and fill the gap in best practice availability for active demand design from a customer standpoint. So let's briefly go through this project. So the InHome Plus project was launched with the main objective to demonstrate whether providing the end user with feedback on energy consumption can address more efficiently and energy behavior. So a sample of 8,000 low voltage customers with more than 100 eligible prosumers was selected in 19 towns with high penetration of renewables in the area of Eastern Italy. So the average age was 45 years with a low-medium computerization level. Currently, about 4,000 customers have been already equipped with an energy monitoring kit, which includes the Enel Smart Info together with dedicated interfaces. So first results have highlighted the remarkable use of the display, pointing out that prosumers are the most active, but also small commercial consumers show to be particularly interested. In general, observed customers found helpful to be informed of tariff bands once they had real-time power monitoring. So, however, to get additional information, so we plan 3 different sets of interview. So a first one before the massive distribution of the kits, aiming at defining a representative behavioral model in terms of habits, family composition, etc. A second one, 2 months before the planned installation, to collect preliminary data on awareness, technology understanding, and also first impression of the kit. Then a last one at the end of the trial, which is still ongoing, to access customer energy behaviors, estimating the technology's effect. Okay, address project. So a pioneering European project in the field of the active demand has been the address project, which ended last year. So the objective was mainly to test and also validate technical solutions to enable active demands at all levels, which means for customer premises, till system operators, and the regulated players, while investigating appropriate market and contractual mechanisms to exploit the benefits of active demand. So recommendation and useful insight have been provided by the project, while also identifying barriers and missing steps to be done, and we'll go through them in a few slides. So address project is in particular, in the address project was in particular envisaged a conceptual architecture where aggregators pulling together consumers and their contractual relationships collect requests and signals from active demand buyers, and accordingly offer active demand services to other players in the market or through bilateral relationship. At customer levels, aggregators send price and volume signals to the InHome controller, so the energy box, which running algorithms perform load management. Signals have been studied in order to be as simple as possible and structured in a way that consumer can benefit from economic incentives by having a load profile within a certain band in a certain period of time. However, the modification of the load profile from the active demand market might have a negative impact of network security and quality of supply, and maybe even contradictory action might be performed. So aggregators, for example, do not know about network topology, etc., and information exchange is therefore required. So, in other terms, this raises the need for coordination, and in particular imply DSO playing a double role. One as validator and enabler of active demand requests, and the other one as a buyer of active demand products. So this was in particular in the focus of the Italian test, where the distribution and network management was tested in presence of active demand. So active demand was emulated by using a storage system and some medium voltage customers. It's not possible to involve an adequately high number of low voltage consumers. So DSO algorithms and prototypes to enable and exploit active demand were developed, proving that flexibility from active demand can be used to solve network management issues. Additionally, active demand requests by deregulated players were simulated and validated through proper algorithms. And for example, in some cases, it happens that a product curtailment was necessary to ensure a reliable network operation. So at the end of 2012, December 2012, the FP7 funded project Advanced has been also launched. So together with other European partners, we wanted to develop actionable frameworks enabling residential, commercial, and industrial consumers to participate in active demand, but also reveal the benefits of active demand for the key stakeholders. For this purpose, different situations will be taken in consideration by using real data for 4 major projects in Europe. The 2 address pilots in Spain and France, IDIMA pilot project in Germany, and the InHome pilot project in Italy. In addition, also the data collected in BaseTT database from 100 European active demand projects will be also exploited to draw key success factors and also recommendations for the future design of the active demand product. Okay, so now let's go through lesson learned and recommendation. So pulling together the experience of the address project, but also the other initiative we have been discussing so far, we can definitely formulate some lesson learned and also hopefully useful recommendation. So the first one is on customer involvement. So participation to active demand program is generally on voluntary basis, as also Remy said. And factors such as technology usability, contextual issues such as age, culture, etc., have an importance. Moreover, the full range of benefits has to be communicated to appeal to a range of customer values, including not only financial benefits, but also, for example, environmental benefits. To successfully activate consumer, what we did, for example, in the InFlow Plus project we discussed before, was to carry out information sessions. First, involve the local authorities, and then also customers, of course. Meeting with majors, but also with local consumers association have been arranged to present the project and to explain its potential benefits. So this way you get connection, let's say. Then more focused meetings have been arranged with participants to explain the project more in details. Moreover, contracts and agreements with customers need to be understandable and transparent. And as a general principle, consumer privacy and data must be protected. Privacy issues, also in relation to data collection and processing, have been in fact addressed in the Annex project terms and conditions, stating also parties' rights and liabilities, always in agreement with the customers. Moreover, another important thing is that customer opting out have been guaranteed and participation stated on a voluntary basis with no cost for the involved customers. Another important issue, however, let's say alongside recruitment, which of course leverage also on promoters' accountability and commercial and communication skills, is to keep customer on board. This is also a real challenge. For this reason, the provision of technical support and frequent communication following technology installation are fundamental principles for continued involvement in managing the electricity system. So, for example, in the Info Plus project, a web portal have been designed and implemented to provide general information about the project and also continuous technical support. Additionally, on the basis of the what we said before, participants will receive reports quarterly, for example, on the evaluation of their level of consumption, also compared with the one observed in the previous year, etc., etc. Another important recommendation is on the system operator side, where we said also before that validation and coordinations are necessary. Active demand can be used to solve network operation problems, thus representing an additional source for electricity system operators. So, but however, coordination is necessary among system operators and aggregators in order to properly localize load areas and assure network security and reliability while considering local constraints. Therefore, responsibility have to be clearly set out and system operators regulation updated to include fixed costs associated to the services provided to enable active demand and to purchase active demand products, which is expected to be country specific. As far as communication infrastructure, to enable an open market for services with positive business cases, standardization and interoperability of the developed solution and devices need to be addressed. Therefore, the use of available open and proven standards for active demand-related communication is recommended, with no restriction to specific communication channels in order to avoid ruling out certain active demand participants. And heterogeneous communication infrastructure need to be acknowledged, and interoperable standards preferred to assure successful commercialization of smart devices. Then, last but not least, of course, market and regulation. As general principle, as we already said, consumers must be free to opt in and opt out, with clear rules and the ownership and protection of data needed. Moreover, rules and mechanisms for verification and measurement of active demand product delivery, fair allocation of costs and benefits among all the involved players with a fair competition have still to be established and guaranteed for active demand to be put in place. Then let's talk briefly also about barriers and challenges to be faced. Three main challenges to the massive deployment of active demand solution can be identified. The first one is that active demand is implies a complex multi-stakeholder system and requires several tools and devices to work together, thus featuring real high complexity. And the second one is that to be fully exploited, active demand programs should be understood and largely adopted by a suitably high number of customers, whose constant involvement is one of the greatest challenges, as we discussed a couple of slides before. And the third one is that the full active demand chain is not presently existing in Europe, and the regulation to exploit active demand is not completely in place. Then, as conclusion, we are still on the way towards active consumers who fully participate in the management of the electricity system. So for active demand to be successful, a gradual implementation should be carried out by first adopting solutions for monitoring to raise customer awareness and involvement, then InHome control to get customers used to technology, and finally full interaction with the electricity system covering the whole active demand chain. And then thank you for your attention. Now if you have questions, I'm of course available.
Thank you very much, Laura. So we now open the floor for your questions and comments. I already saw some questions coming in. So we have a first question from Henry Lawson, and I think that's one for you, Remy. So the question is, how were countries recruited, and why, for example, was UK not included? So maybe could you comment on the country selection, please, Remy?
The ISGAN demand side management casebook is open to all the countries participating in the ISGAN initiative, which is part of the International Energy Agency. After that, it's on a voluntary basis. So, for example, Italy, thanks to Laura, wanted to participate and to propose to us a demand-side management case. In the UK, we had, during the last EXCO meeting of the ISGAN, the UK representative was there, so it's completely free for UK to present a casebook. If you know that guy, you can ask him to provide us some interesting cases. We will be glad to have an English case in the second version of the active demand casebook.
Okay, thank you very much. Next question is from Hans Nielsen, and the question is, has there been any comparison between these cases and the US O-Power concept? So I think O-Power, if I understand from a quick web search, is a cloud-based utility concept. So, Laura, would you be in a position to comment on this?
There is no direct comparison between, for example, a system in France and the O-Power concept. Some countries have already developed something similar to the O-Power concept. Laura, feel free to complete. Understanding is that in Italy was something similar, or probably using the O-Power, I don't know. But there is no direct comparison between an existing project providing information to the customer and the O-Power concept. But there is probably some cases using an O-Power system, but I'm not aware of that.
Exactly. Remy, I think I hear there seem to be again problems with the sound, so maybe we need to speak up a little bit. Okay. Thank you. Next question is about the impact on price. So maybe this is a question for you, Laura. So let me just bring up the question. So the question is from Colombia, from Francisco Rios, and he wants to know whether these technologies have an impact on the energy price to final consumers. So, Laura, would you have some comments on this?
Okay, so the technology I've basically been discussed in the projects and developed by Enel are much more related to energy consumption, monitoring, and to increase customer awareness. So for sure, in the brief term, so customer can benefit also from an economic point of view by reducing the energy volume customer consumed, and also shifting the energy consumption from the hours where we have a higher price, generally, at least in Italy, to off-peak hours where the energy price is lower. So according to this consumption reduction, but also shifting, as in Italy we have also a time of use tariff, customer can benefit from, let's say, billing reduction. according to this, to more efficient energy consumption behavior.
Okay, thank you. A related question on that comes from Henry Lawson. Again, it's the annual policy. What was the annual policy in terms of moving clients from fixed rate tariffs to time-dependent variable tariffs? And was the move entirely voluntary? So, Laura, I think this is again a question for you.
Oh, yes. I'm reading actually the question right now. So time of use tariffs were mandatorily introduced by the national regulator, if I remember well, in 2012. This smart metering rollout, which was performed by Enel and completed by Enel in Italy already in 2006, was for sure the backbone infrastructure to enable also time of use tariff for customers.
I see you. Okay, thank you. Let me see. So the question from Linda Hull. Again, I think on the Italian case. Do you have information on customers who did not participate and why they did not do so?
Oh, okay. So as I said before, so we identified in the Enel Info Plus project 8,000 customers. According to the criteria, several criteria, part of which I described during the presentation. So the project started at the end of 2012. So now we say that basically a year project is almost completed. And now we already have on board the half of this sample, so 4,000 customers. So I would say that this is a good rate, and it is not. At the end, so we are still keeping carrying on the trial. So we will see at the end.
Excellent. I think the next question is I would like to move back to Remy, because I think the following questions are probably a bit more general. So the next question comes from Yves Bertone. His question is, if demand response is technically difficult, and he refers to multiple standards, and requires many actors, he wonders whether the benefits are worth the effort. So, Remy, would you comment on the cost benefits of demand response, please?
The casebook highlights that it's not so simple to create active demand or demand side management stuff or program. Of course, it required at least two actors, the customers. It's key to have the customer involved, and another one that could be, in most of the case, the utility. But regarding the benefit, it depends on what is the price of the electricity in your country. That it's more or less better to do some active demand program. For example, in France, we have some off-peak tariff, and thanks to the tariff, we are able to switch on and switch off 12 million of water heater at night. So this is an active demand program. The customers are involved. The utility, ERDF, is involved, and thanks to that, we are able to switch on and switch off the 12 million water heater. It's simple. It works. This is, of course, the first step. There is a lot of more technical program regarding that. But it could be simple, like the water heater in France, or it could be very difficult or very sophisticated, like some other projects, for example, in the US.
Okay, thank you very much. Staying with you, Remy, another question is from Gianluigi Proserpio. Could you give some directions about the interoperable standards that you are considering? Is that something that was addressed in the project at all? So could you comment on this, please, Remy?
Oh, this interoperability problem so far is not addressed in the casebook. In the casebook, we are gathering 12 initiatives about demand-side management in the world. So we are gathering them, and we try to compare what has been done or is done in different countries. So we are not addressing this topic. Some projects, some dedicated projects, like the Grid for You project, are addressing interoperability problem, but not the ISGAN demand-side management casebook.
Excellent, thank you. For the next question, I would like to move back to Laura. So because this question probably relates to the Italian case, it's a question from Valeria Branciforti. She wants to know whether what's your experience, whether people really keep their interest on the system after the first months, or does the interest in the benefits decrease after a couple of months? So what's the experience with the Italian case on this, Laura?
The first feedback we collected both from the InHome Plus project, but also from the InHome project, so respectively on energy monitoring and InHome energy management, are quite good. So customers are interested in the project and also find technology quite helpful. So as I said before, they are both ongoing projects, but the first results are quite good.
Okay, thank you. Stay with you, Laura. A question from Jorge Saravia. Where can he get more information about these technologies that you presented?
In the presentation I put online, I put the website of each of the projects, where everybody can easily read the more detailed information about every solutions and also the projects we have been discussed. However, I mean, in case you have questions, I mean, I'm also available offline.
Okay, thank you. We have a question from Michael Pacheco. I think that's again for you, Laura. In the residential sector, have you found differences between end users that can be easily shifted in time and end users that are not shifted, even with variable pricing? So what's the experience in Italy on this?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get the question.
Whether there are energy users that are that customers are more likely to shift in time versus others that are less flexible.
Difference between it's probably, I mean, my fault, but I have some difficulty in understanding the question.
I think it is probably related to the point that services like cooking, you cannot easily shift in time, because when it's evening you want to cook, whether the tariff is high or not. But other services like washing are probably more flexible, because you can wash anytime depending on the tariff. So if you want people to respond to variable tariffs, there may be services that are consumed whatever the tariff is, lighting and cooking, for example, and there are other services which are more flexible to be shifted in time.
Oh yes, of course. I mean, there are different type of load, different kind of flexible load inside the home domain, but the algorithms which are implemented inside the home network, so according to the architecture of the InHome project, takes into account both appliance performances and user needs. So of course, quality, I mean, for customers is always kept in mind, trying never to jeopardize, as much as possible, customer comfort over energy management inside the house.
Okay, thank you. Next question, I would maybe invite your comments on this, Remy, is about the implementation cost of these systems for consumers. So Of course, there is an Italian case, but there are other cases. So could you comment what these systems typically cost to domestic consumers?
I cannot comment that, but my advice is that you will find very detailed information about that for each cases in the casebook. This is the aims of the casebook, is to gather 12 projects or initiatives worldwide. So in less than 1 month, when the casebook will be published on the ISGAN website, you will be able to download it or to order for a paper copy. And in the casebook, really, you will find different feedback or answer regarding that question for each case.
I see. Okay, excellent. And next question is about again about variable pricing. So I think there is an Italian dimension and a general dimension, but I think Remy, I expect your answer will be similar. Over some time, how do customers behave after responding to after they've experienced low prices for a period and then they suddenly see prices increase? Are there cases of customers reacting to that?
I'm sorry, is this a question for me or for me?
Well, if you have a comment, Laura, you're welcome. So go ahead.
So the Italian field test, we don't have price signals sent to the customer, unless we mean for pricing or a tariff identification. So probably Remy can help me to answer according to the other cases in the report.
Okay, thank you. Remy, would you like to add something to that?
One of the first feedback regarding this question is that if there is a real improvement on the bill you receive at home, of course the customer are in the time they are more active in the demand side management. So if they can see an improvement, if the bill, to be honest, or simple, if the bill is cheaper, it's better or easier for the customer to stay involved in the demand side management program.
Exactly. Okay, thank you. Staying with you, Remy, there is a question from Ian Shearer. I think he asks whether one of the cases, is there a case study that looks at the smart grid technologies to manage demand response and renewable distributed generation on a weak network? So is that specific aspect covered in one of the 11 case studies that you've mentioned?
It depends on each case. We are most of the time in the case they are using smart grid technologies to manage or to provide demand response, and the network is not weak in most of the cases. It's a normal network or an efficient network like in Italy or in France.
Okay. Okay, excellent. Let me see I think there's a final question about return on investment, but I think that's covered. I think that will be covered in the casebook. There's also a very specific question on the VASA ETT database. Maybe that's a question for you, Laura. So Valeria Branciforti asked about this VASA ETT database. Could you tell a little bit more about it?
Actually, this is in the framework of the advanced projects. So I'm not actually able to answer specifically this question. So the VASA ETT database, however, will be exploited. Together with the 4 projects I mentioned before in the advanced project. So I may ask my colleagues. So probably if Valeria wants, can try to contact me offline, and I maybe send their information request to colleagues working on this.
Indeed, that's probably an offline question. I think you have all the email addresses of the speakers, so please feel free to use them to ask further questions. I suggest that we leave it at this. So I would, because we are almost at the end of our session. To anticipate one of the questions, as usual, we will circulate the slides, a copy of the slides of this session to all participants, so you can expect this in the coming days. And then I think nothing is left for me to just thank our speakers for their presentation, for a nice presentation on this subject, and to all participants for an animated discussion. This was actually the second webinar. I should actually have mentioned this at the beginning. The second webinar of the DSM University. So we have 2 more events upcoming in April and May. So please, I've typed a link before, but I'll type it again. So join us at dsmu.org, and then we will keep you posted on upcoming events on DSM should you be interested. So then we are hereby adjourned. So thank you all, and hope to see you again next month. Bye bye now.
Bye.
Bye.